everyone, this is Archangeli. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're safe and I hope you're healthy. It has been a weird few months for everyone. I know personally I haven't left my house more than twice in the past 10 weeks, and one of those times was to go to the post office last week to pick up this box. Now obviously the title of the video has given the surprise away. This is 2B from NieR Automata. Finally picked her up, and let's open her up, put her together and chit chat a little bit. So this doll was a pre-order doll. The pre-order period for her was October 20th, 2018. 2018, okay? October 20th to December the 2nd, so you had a nice long period to open this up, to pre-order this. But even with that big period, I still managed to miss it. I missed the pre-order window by a few hours, and so I managed to pre-order her through Volks USA because, I guess with the time difference, we had an extra 24 hours. So, with Volks USA, I put down a $200 deposit back in 2018, and then this finally shipped earlier in June, or June 23rd, and it arrived on July 15th. I didn't pick it up from the post office till July 15th anyway. So it's been chilling here in the house until I had a chance to open it for you all. So yeah, let's open this up. Sorry, my cat's kind of running around being naughty and... Here. Paper? No, she doesn't want the paper. And there's invoice in here. Let's just tilt this up so you can have a look. So it's just bubble wrapped, chilling inside this giant shipping box, and it is awkwardly heavy. So the retail, so yeah, I did mention, we put down a $200 American dollar deposit. I forget how much her total price was in US dollars, but she was a total of 88,000 yen. That was her total price. Okay, let's put this down. I'm gonna use my pillowcase. Okay, that was fun. Let's do it again. Okay, so what was I saying? 88,000 yen was the retail price for her in Japan, and whatever that works out to exchange. And then on top of that, because we live in Canada and we get charged taxes, I had to pay a ransom at the post office for this. That was an extra $164 Canadian on top of the cost of this doll. The world being the way it is right now, we knew this was coming. We knew this doll was coming. We didn't know the coronavirus was coming. So we've been budgeting accordingly. I haven't been making any big purchases because you never know, right? Okay, so that's the bubble wrap. And, oh, here we go. There's some tape up here. Okay, so this is one of the special slider boxes that Volks uses. I guess the last time I saw one of these was when I opened up a Saber, because when we brought home Renka and Arl, it was in the cardboard boxes that can flatten down really easily. Small plastic. Okay, so this beautiful box says NieR Automata and not much else. There is nothing, no artwork on this box. So let's slide this. Okay, if I do that, things may fall out. So slide this open. Oh, the smell of a new vinyl doll. Here she is inside. And oh, the hooks kind of came undone around her feet. But anyway, I'll take this out we'll have a look at what's inside, and then I'll lay it all out. We'll dress her up and have a look at these things a little bit more up close. So this is my doll. Here is her pamphlet or instruction manual. So this is in a big Ziploc bag with a doll. So it's her instruction manual. There's a Dollfie Dream pamphlet. There's a spare set of wrist joints in black bundled in here. There is her little wig, her outfit. That's just like, hang on, let me just tilt this up. That's all that was sitting in like that. And then in the bottom of the box is another box. So let's have a look at all these things spread out. I'll open this up and we'll have a look at it. All right, so I missed this on the bottom of the box because I was standing the box upright, but there is a sticker identifying the doll on the bottom of the box, and it says 2 Type B, Yorha, Dollfie Dream, and it's got the copyright information for Dollfie Dream and Square Enix and a holographic sticker. Okay, so let's open this baby up. And so 2B is on the DB F3 dynamite body. So that means she's in a dynamite body with big boobs, wide hips, but the F3 version of the body, which is their newest, most current body with the best, I guess, articulation and not so much customization, but adjustability. And her head sculpt, we can have a look later, but it's number 144. She was sculpted by Misaki Serika, who is one of the Volk's in-house sculptors. She does a lot of work for a lot of the sculpts actually for their dolls. So her boots, we have the top, hairband, socks. These are her gloves and her arm coverings. This is her headband, her eyepiece, the body stocking, and her skirt. So the skirt is lined in white inside, but it's not completely white because you do have the black coming through from where the embroidery is done on top. Oh, and Cat's having a snack, so that's what the crunchy noises are in the background. So because this body is in the semi-white skin, that's why they've included the body stocking, because otherwise with this completely dark outfit, it's just a recipe for staining. So let's get the body stocking on her first. And while I do that, I actually had a look at the pamphlet that came with this doll. So this is version 7.2 of the Dollfie Dream concept notes. This booklet comes with every doll, and I honestly don't remember the last time I flipped through one of these because, I don't know, they tend to all be the same. However, I was kind of surprised, pleasantly surprised, that the second half of this is all in English. So as someone who doesn't read Japanese, having the instructions on how to take apart the F3 body and how to adjust the different parts, like the arms and the shins, and tighten them. There's even tips on how to put the wigs on and how to adjust the eyes. Just flipping through this, I found it was very helpful. So if this is your first doll, or if you're new to collecting Dollfie Dreams, do have a look in the pamphlet. And I guess even if you're an older collector, it doesn't hurt. So I'm going to take her hands off, and these just pop right out quite easily. And this body stocking, it's a nice thick fabric. It's gonna zipper down the back. And if you've watched my video about live staining, I've shown different types of body stockings before. This one is nice and thick, so this will prevent any dye from going through the body stocking and possibly staining the doll. There is a hole in the middle, and it's literally just a circular hole to show off the top, her cleavage basically. A peephole, a window. So let's get this on. So, as I get this body stocking on her, we can talk a little bit about my limited knowledge of the NieR Automata game. So it is a Square Enix game that was released in 2017. It was an incredibly popular game, and 2B, this character, 2B stands for two-type B, B for battle, and she's the main protagonist in what's called the Route A. So there are different paths, different possible choices you can make when you're playing the Automata game. And if you choose Route A, then 2B is the main character that you will be playing with. So she's a Yorha, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, android, which is created to battle the machine life forms that have invaded the planet on behalf of the surviving humans. And all that information I just pulled from fandom.com from their wiki. So that's pretty much my overall understanding of the game. I actually personally haven't played it. I just thought her sculpt was absolutely gorgeous. And we'll do a close-up shot of her after so you can get a look at her face. So this is snug fitting in a good way as I shimmy this up. There we go, we slide that up her legs here. And there's a bit of excess fabric here, so we're just gonna adjust this as we go, because once she's dressed it'll be much harder to try to fiddle with the body stocking. So let's get her arms in. There we go, that's one arm. And I'll get that over her bust. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that they've given her what they call the flat shapely bust. So you notice the headlights have been sanded flat. So it gives a much smoother look when she's dressed. She doesn't look like she's cold all the time. And it's just a little more elegant. Do be careful with this body stocking, because the hole, the peephole in the wind over the cleavage is literally just a hole. There's no seam, there's nothing to protect it from unraveling. If you're not careful, the hole can stretch or tear even. I don't know if it could possibly tear. So the way they've installed the zipper is kind of interesting. It comes from the side of her waist and then comes around the back. But it zips up pretty smoothly, so there's that. So we're gonna leave her hands rather off for a minute, and let me just reference the instruction manual and we will put her together. Yeah, so the first thing is to put on her underwear and the arm things, so let's do that. It's her head piece here. Now, I did mention earlier that this doll took ages to get to us, and part of that, oh, this is part of her story, I'll put that away later. Part of the reasoning for that is okay, so this, I'll backtrack to that in a minute. This piece is an embossed pleather. It's quite delicate, so when you're opening this, and even the instructions here, it says, put your nails in the middle of that clasp and pop it open. Don't pull it because you could tear this. And it's just the nature of the pleather, even though it's kind of stretchy, you want to be careful with it. So the reason for the delay in this doll reaching me was because of the typhoon that hit Japan last October. It severely damaged, or it caused severe damage to Volks's manufacturing facilities. And as a result, they divided the shipment they divided the shipments up into 3 batches. So if you ordered right on October 20th, you would be part of the first batch. But because I ordered, I guess, December 2nd or December 3rd, we were part of the last shipping batch. And also because we were ordering from Volks USA, it also adds more time because the doll has to go from Japan to LA, they check it, and then it comes up to me, which is why it took an extra amount of time. So that's the thong piece. But I mean, it's not like I've been going anywhere. I've had nothing but time on my hands. So no big deal that it took a while, right? So let's slip these pieces on. So this kind of, I think it overlaps the wrist a little bit because it doesn't seem to go further up, and I can't imagine it going higher because of where the elbow joint is. So that's that piece here. So her top stuffed with paper to hold the shape, and we'll put that aside. There's some beautiful mesh and lattice work. Actually, you can probably see it better if I had the paper back in, but it's just really, really pretty the way that they've done this. These are real feathers on her, I guess her elbow or her sleeve there, the cuff. And how does this top do up? Oh, this is really neat. So there's a couple of hooks and loops at the neck, and then this does up down her side and under her arm. So we can turn this, and it has some tips on how to dress her into this top. So you're going to have to bring her arms up, and they've pulled her head off, so I guess we can do that too. And the head just comes off like that. While I have her head off, we can have a look inside. And when I mentioned her head sculpt earlier, the number is just etched in the vinyl on the bottom of her head here. And if you've never taken the head cap off of a Volks doll, on the inside of the head cap, you're looking to see this little notch, and that lines up with the back of the head. And then you just kind of gently squeeze it and it pops back on nicely. So let me just hold that up. Arms up, and let's get this top on. So I'm adjusting the peephole on the body stocking as I do this. Let's sit her down and see if that helps. So this I can foresee being a little bit awkward since it doesn't open all the way to slide on the body. So I've got one arm through. And the other arm here. So when I lifted the arm, I kind of exposed, or I twisted the armpit joint a little bit. I can feel the ball joint, so I'm just trying to line that up again as I put her arm down. So. The same thing over here. This is a bit twisted, and elbow fit goes that way. Just trying to get the arm. What's going on with her arm here? There we go. And then get that in place. And so there's hooks and then tiny little loops on the side of the neck, and that's what the hooks hopefully can attach into. All right, I got one of them in. And that's the second one. So that's that. And I'm giving this a little bit of I'm adjusting this as I go. So we will have a look underneath here to see what's going on. Oh, I see, okay. So the underside does up completely with the hooks and loops as well. And it's a bit finicky, fidgety. Sorry, I didn't really want to cut away there, but it was quite difficult to get the little hooks done up under her arm. It was on this side. So I had to get her on my lap and like kind of finagle that, which is why they recommend that you take the head off so that you're not squishing the head against your clothes or your lap when you're doing this. I did also have to take the top or readjust it to make sure that the window in the middle of the body stocking was lined up just so that, you know, you weren't seeing bits of the fabric. But there we go, finally. And next we're gonna put her wrist joints on. They want the black ones at this point with the black hands, which are in the other box that I haven't opened yet, so we'll get there in a minute. But we can put the armature for the hands on, just so that they are in place. And next we're going to put on her skirt. Actually, I'm gonna put on her stockings first and then her skirt. Her skirt just does up with little hooks, so that's quite simple. But the stockings, I have a feeling I'm gonna need to maneuver the body around a little bit, so I'd rather do that before I put her skirt on. So I'm just gonna take these out. So these are a nice slippery kind of, actually they're not as sheer as I thought, these stockings, and they are stretchy. But yeah, anyway, I'm always curious what Volks chooses to make their socks out of nowadays, because in the past some of their socks and stockings have been notoriously bad in regards to leaving stains. So this feels like the type of slippery fabric that shouldn't stain, and people have had this doll long enough that if it was a really bad stain monster, I would have heard about it. I've had friends that started receiving their 2B orders and 9S orders as early as last December, so that's December 2019. So that's given people a lot of time for the outfit to sit on the doll. Now, I've got very long nails, so I'm trying to be extra cautious with the stockings to not snag them. And also putting stockings on top of a stocking is, let's be honest, it is a pain. It's not my favorite. I'd rather just have socks that I know don't stain. But I do appreciate the fact that Volks did provide us with a body stocking, so I'm going to use it. So here's the other sock, we'll just get them. And what I'm doing is just kind of pulling where the excess fabric is to just kind of slide this down and then get under the stocking band and just kind of push, and there we go. Just kind of slide that so they're even. There we are. Excellent. Okay, so now let's get this skirt piece on. And the way this does up, the hooks and this bow or this tie piece go in the front. So put her down. And again, this just does up with the hooks and the little thread loops. So it's a little bit finicky. Okay, now that's on. If you look at it, it looks really silly. It looks like a weird lampshade. So what you need to do is, if you look at the images here, they tell you how to fold it and pleat it to get it into a nice shape. I will do that when I have her on a doll stand, because then I can manipulate the folds a little bit better, but I'll do that after. First, I'm going to get her boots on, and then I can actually put her onto a stand, and we can fiddle with her skirt. So these are very excellent tall black platform boots. Oh, these are so nice. So they have the zipper at the back of the calf, and that's it actually. So I hope these have a bit of a stretch to them. Oh, they do actually. They're stretchy. So I'm gonna pull all this paper out carefully because they've stuffed it pretty tightly to help hold the shape of the boots. So yeah, there's all that stuffed inside. But because they used a stretchy PVC, these boots are very soft and flexible. So here's, if you're ever unsure, just have a look at the bottom of the boot. So this goes on her left foot. I'm going to point the toe to help get this in there. This is also the type of soft PVC, or the soft, like the type of fake leather that can tear. So I want to be careful with it because, well, you know what, I'm going to put her foot through here and then slide it that way, which is not what they recommend, but yeah, that wasn't a good idea. Let's pull that back this way. And I'm gonna get her foot back in here. It's not that, sorry, it's not that it will tear. Well, I mean, that is a possibility, but it can scratch really easily. So I'm trying to be careful with my long nails. There we go, get that on her foot nicely. And so you can feel where the heel is inside the boot, and zips up. And that is, oh, that is so nice. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that is so nice. Okay. So we're gonna have a little bit of bunching around the ankles, but not too much. We can kind of slide that up a bit to mitigate the bunching. Oh, that's so nice. Yes, yes, that was very well done. Good design choice to use this fabric roll because it looks great. It's very smooth. So I'm going to pull out all this paper on the other boot. Pull this out. There's so much paper. And so the lacing on the back is just like a thin organza ribbon. It's already laced and it's finished, so you don't need to do anything to it. Oops, okay, so let's get this foot up and we're gonna put this boot on the same way as we did the other one. So it does help to put the foot through here just to get it up the leg a bit and then go backwards in. That is not in the recommended to do in the booklet, it's just my observation. So let me slide that, get her foot in in there. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing the heel into into her boot zip and slide it up to get that nice and smooth and awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab a doll stand. I'll be right back, and then we can pleat the skirt a little bit and open up her box of accessories. All right, I had to rearrange a little bit because I wanted to show you what I've been doing, and it's a bit fiddly, but I want to keep her on the doll stand as well. So as the diagram in the pamphlet indicates, you need to kind of pleat the skirt with this kind of over-under pattern. So that's what I've been doing. So if I lift up the edge of the skirt, you can see generally what I've been doing. So this should actually, you know, sit a little tighter like that. And there's no real right or wrong way to do this. You just kind of have to position it in such a way that you're happy with how the skirt stands and how it looks. And then you just kind of fiddle around with it so that you get a shape that you're happy with. There we go. So that's that. And next we're going to put her head back on. We can have another look. Whoops, where are we at her head here. And have a look at her head sculpt. Sorry, my lighting situation is a bit strange. You can see she has realistic eyes. They look very much like the resin eyes that Volks puts on their resin dolls. But when I opened the head up earlier to have a look, obviously you can see from the inside they are plastic and emetic style eyes. So we're gonna put her bandana on. So this, thank goodness, is all done in white on the inside. And there's a funny little elastic that goes behind her ear. So this covers her right eye, and it actually, if I turn here, there's a little white loop and the hook, and you're supposed to hook that on. And I wonder if I just cheat and do it that way, can I just slide it down over her head? And the answer is no, it's too tight. So we're gonna have to maneuver this, and it does have a bit of a stretch to it. Crikey. All right, let's. It's actually the white piece here that has the stretch to it. So I'm holding that and pulling, and I almost got it. I guess because I'm doing these videos for you in real time, you get to watch me struggle for real. All right, I'm gonna take her head back off and try to put this head. Okay, so that was extremely difficult. And if I turn the head, you can see how stretched that little white loop of thread is. So it wasn't just me, it was quite tight to get the headband on. What you could do is take the head cap of the doll off, slip this eye patch on, and then put the head cap back on. That might be easier because the back of the head is squishy, so you can manipulate that a little bit. Under no circumstances, squeeze the front of the face, because you could end up popping the eyes out of the head. So unless you want to do that, don't squeeze the front of the face, and you shouldn't really be handling the face up anyway. So let's put the head back on, and that was super finicky. I don't want to do that again. Next, we're going to put her wig on. And so this is her wig. It's still in the packaging. I've misplaced my little scissors. Here they are. And the reason I need my scissors is because, as with all new Volks wigs, it's attached to the cardboard. That's how you know it's new. You see the little plastic doodad in there? So I need to snip that. And we'll throw that away later. Oh, and then you just take the netting off of the wig. So this was the other part of that plastic thingy. Or is it a second one? We'll see. Okay. Oh no, I think there's a second one, so I'm just gonna carefully cut this out too. And I want to find here, the inside of the plastic, because I do not want that kicking around. So the inside of the wig is like a pale grayish beige, which is good. It won't stain her head. This seems like a monofilament fiber, the type that Volks has used in the past. Off the top of my head, I would say this is not heat safe. So do be careful if you're going to try to style this with any kind of heating implements. You could very easily melt the wig. So I'm just going to put this on. I'm grasping the top of the fringe and the inside base of the wig here. Hopefully you can see what I'm grabbing. And we're gonna go front to back in one smooth motion and slide the wig on. And it has to go over her headband. And then, according to the photos, the top of the head cap is supposed to line up with the top of the wig. I mean the top of the, like her eye patch piece, when you lift it up here. So there, that fits nice and snug. Can kind of move that around a little bit. And then get her little headband, and we'll slide that just in like so. And then all right, now they want me to style her hair a little bit. So I'm gonna take a minute and hang out with my water wax and see what we can do with her wig. Okay, I'm gonna readjust this a little bit because it's covering up her good eye a lot. So I'm just gonna take a quick break and I'll be right back. All right, so I was having a lot of difficulty with the headband because I wasn't looking at the reference images properly. It's supposed to cover both of her eyes. I had it trying to have her left eye visible and it wasn't working. So anyway, now both eyes are covered. I've got the wig on, and you need to kind of position the elastics on the side of the wig to get it over the headband. And then what I've noticed is that the way that I noticed this predominantly with light colored wigs, you can kind of see the way the wefts are sewn kind of horizontally in the wig cap. So you need to kind of move the hair around. I was using the Volks water wax, which is just a product like this. And you just get a little bit on your fingers and you just kind of, you know, play with the hair a little bit, get it piecey looking, chunky, to kind of give it that video game anime look. And you just fiddle with that until you're happy with it. No wig looks perfect straight out of the plastic. I mean, if you got crunched into a ball and thrown into a box, you wouldn't look so great either, right? So you just kind of have to play with that a little bit. And the water wax definitely helps. If you don't have water wax, a little bit of, what do I use? Non-aerosol hairspray. So hairspray that you can just, even if it is aerosol, actually, it doesn't really matter. Spray it on your fingers and then just gently, you know, move the hair around that way. The reason I like non-aerosol hairsprays are because they tend to be more water-based and they don't dry as quickly, so you have a little more time to work with the hair and manipulate it before it dries and sets. So we've got to be pretty much set up. Let's have a look now at the box of stuff, because I haven't opened that yet. So this, well, I'll actually go through this pamphlet together later. This tassel, these were her other hands. And all right, so this is her gigantic accessories box. And okay, there's a metal stand. Okay, so if I reference her manual, all of the components are labeled. And you've got 4 hands, the sword, and the bits that are her pod. Because I haven't played the game, I can't really tell you too much about the pod. There are a lot of instructions in here about how articulated this pod is. So if I hold it up here, you can see there's a lot of 360, 360, 360. It moves around, so you can play with it to display. I'm actually just gonna leave it alone because I don't know what to do with it after I set it up. One thing to note, it comes with a really solid metal base. It's the same type of base that Volks uses for some of their doll stands. It's just got a slightly modified piece here along, oh sorry, there's a cover here. That would be why it's not opening. For all intents and purposes, is the same mechanism as a Volks doll stand. It's just that this rod here is different and it doesn't have either the saddle stand or the waist holding mechanism. So I'm after her sword here, and let's have a look at her hands. I'm gonna take her gripping hands because those are the ones I want for the sword. And then this one is kind of a relaxed pose like that. It's not really the 01 normal pose for the hand. Let's tuck that back in. And this one is the same, it's the other side of that. All right, so I'm gonna open up the gripping hands. are nicely painted. If you look closely, actually, I believe the thumb is a separate piece that attaches into the hand. One thing that I do want to point out when you're putting the hands on, and this is in the pamphlet, I am not making it up, there is a right and a wrong way to insert the armature. You're supposed to put the flat part of the hand against the back of the hand, so the round part goes into the palm of the hand. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me grab these. These were her normal hands, or that came with her. So if I pull the hand out of the armature, you'll see it's flat and then it's got a curved side. So you put the flat side into the back of the hand and the curved side up. And that just, sometimes it's a little stiff, but you can just tuck that in. And this has the 360 rotation as well as the front and the back articulation. So this is her left hand. Pop that. I am just going to take that out to make sure it goes in smoothly the whole way. There we go. And this is the other hand. And there we go. So I'm going to take out her sword. And this is very nicely painted. The tassel just attaches with a simple lobster clasp to the back here. It's nice. And this, the hilt actually comes apart. So when you're putting the sword in her hand, you're supposed to slide in part way and then assemble it back together in her hand. Yeah, it should go together. Ooh, that sound is not a good sound, but there we are. And she's able to hold her sword. Oops, excuse me. She's able to hold it quite well on her own. The elbow is a little loose, but I can always tighten that up. But her wrist is able to support the sword, which is nice, because if the wrist is loose, it's a bit of a pain to try to adjust that. But there we have it. Now that we're in slightly better lighting, I can show you the detail on the back of her top. And you can see why Volks decided to run the zipper of the body stocking along that way, so that you don't see the seam down the middle of her back. It's a nice choice. And you can see the embroidery detailing on her skirt. I tried to fold the pleats to match in with these little panels here, but it doesn't quite work out, so you just gotta work with it. You can see the back of the boots and how they do up. And if you compare the black feathers on her sleeves, you can tell that the outfit is not a pure black. It's kind of a muted black, a soft black. And the overall effect is quite nice. So against my better judgment, I left her blindfold on her face overnight to see if it would stain. So let's take it off and check. See if I can remove this thing one-handed. Oh, there we are. Whoops. And it looks like we are in good shape. There are no stains or marks on her face. And remember, this thing is white lined. And they did do a good job in making sure there were no black threads that would touch the face. So I'm quite relieved. So here we are. I've tried to show you the doll in different lighting situations so you can get a sense of how she looks. I've taken and kept the blindfold off of her face because just as a general practice, I don't like keeping things on my doll's faces. But because I did have it on her face for 20 hours, that gives you a general idea. You do have a window of time if you're going to take your doll out to do a photo shoot. It's not going to stain immediately like some other things have in the past, like Sailor Moon's tiara left marks on her face, and some outfits that Volk's made are just horrible stain monsters. But at least with the blindfold, you know you're not going to stain your doll immediately. I was playing around with her a little bit, and I noticed that on this doll, my doll specifically, her left wrist is a little bit gimpy, but her right wrist is fine. She can hold her sword really well. She is capable of holding the sword in her left and right hand, like just the way that it's sculpted. However, I may try to adjust her wrist a little bit, but I won't get into that too much in this video because it is a more advanced modification. Her right elbow, I did mention, is a little bit loose, but because of the F3 armature, that is something that you can just go in and tighten it, and that's an easy thing to fix. Generally, I'm really impressed with this doll. I think she's really, really lovely. Her face reminds me very much of the resin super Dollfies that Volks releases. Even like the eyes and the face up, everything about her looks very much like a super Dollfie. And I think that's why I was attracted to her, because I do collect super Dollfies as well as Dollfie Dreams. But obviously she's done in vinyl and her eyes are plastic, so it's a nice hybridization of the two. I think it's a nice melding of the both doll types. I can't wait to dress her up and put her in different outfits and just play with her. I think she's really, really beautiful. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I've missed you. I hope that you enjoyed our time together. I hope to see you again soon. Remember to stay safe, wear your masks out in public, wash your hands, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.